forgot my phone at home today, and all I've got is my computer. I am driving from Park Rapids back to Perham because medication is in Park Rapids. School is in Perham. It's a whole lot of road in between those places, and those are where we can get what we need. So that really sucks. And I feel like for the longest time, what I've been trying to do is find my happy medium space. Like, where can I be close enough to Park Rapids to get medicine, even though we could probably switch pharmacies, but that's, if you've ever had to switch a pharmacy, you know how big of a pain in the ass that is. And the one we have is drive-through, so perks to that pharmacy. Anyway, I think I've been trying to figure out where can I do all the things that I need to do. And then I immediately get frustrated because I think that's not what I want, though. Like, being stationary in one spot, even if I can find that right spot, still sucks. Because I want to be able to travel with my kids. And we homeschool, so why can't we? And why can't the stuff that I show them and the places that I take them be part of their schooling, right? Why can't I just take them to the Grand Canyon instead of telling them about it? I can take them there, and we can do other stuff in our bus on the way there, or our RV, or whatever it is that we get. And how come we can't make a collaboration with other states to then have this, like, school? Does it even matter? I mean, does it even matter if you're in a different state when you're doing it? I don't think so. Anyways, what I do want to look at is see, can I get a fleet of buses? And can families sign up to be part of this homeschool and have these buses where they can live in and travel the country for a few months out of the year and still get the services they need by offering somebody that can help travel with them, that can do the things that they want to do, or not even that they want to do, but that they need. You know, I need EIDBI services. I need sensory regulation support because I was never taught how to do that, and I can't teach her that. And so I need to pay somebody else to teach her and me, because I'm still learning also. Like, this is what is so hard, is like, by me realizing all these different things that they're doing and getting, I'm trying to implement them on myself, because I've obviously been undiagnosed ADHD, probably odd ADHD, my whole life. And I never was taught how to do some of this stuff. And a lot of it isn't even like medicine. It's how can you structure your day? How can you learn about yourself in a way that you know what you need, and then set your days up like that? You know, if you know that, like, doing a particular task is very energy draining, you know that you need to conserve energy, and you need to know what you spend most of your energy on, and how do you do that? And if you realize that you're running out of energy, how do you then recognize that? I don't know. I usually don't recognize it till I'm in burnout. Oh, that's not very healthy, I guess. So, yeah, for me, I'm trying to learn myself so that I can run a business. But then I'm also paying somebody else to teach my kid this, which sucks in general. I wish that parents could go through the same type of programming. We get parent therapy, but we don't learn about our own, you know, models, our own profile, what they call it. Why can't we start adding that in there, and then supporting the families as a whole? And having somebody that doesn't have to clock out at 40 hours a week. Why can't it be a school like homeschool, and just everybody get what they need, and the state can help support it, because kids are learning what they need to learn, and they can learn it in their environment. Because guess what? When you take a child out of their natural environment, which is like your home, and then you put them in a space where they can compartmentalize, oh, this is school, so I act this way at school. And then you turn around and you go back home, and then they're like, oh, I have to act this way at home, or I can act this way at home because my parents are too exhausted and burnt out from the constant work that they're doing, being a caregiver 24/7, 365, except for the few hours a day that my daughter goes and gets the services that I have to pay for her to have, which I'm not paying for. Y'all are paying for it, by the way. It's not public school, but she's on Medicaid because she's disabled and she's autistic and has epilepsy and has tumors in her body, okay? So not only is she on Medicaid because she's disabled, and we apparently make too much for Social Security supplemental income, so that doesn't help. And we have all of this happening on top, and so we try to have a job, or we try to create a business that we can work hours that work with our schedule. And when you're driving an hour a day one way to get your child to school, you spend at least 2 hours a day in the car. For me, that's exhausting. I don't mind being in the car if I'm not the one driving. If I'm driving, so much energy is used for me, like mental energy. And if I have to go in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, running errands, I don't want to leave my house for a week after that. It's not that I don't love seeing things, because I do. Even today, I'm taking all new roads that I've never taken before. It's still exhausting because for me, driving, I am on such high alert for animals, for people, for other cars, for traffic. Am I, going the right speed? Because if I get too in my thoughts, then I'm not paying attention to my speed. So thank God for cruise control. But driving for me is exhausting. And then I go home and I try to do things that regulate me, but that doesn't work because now my kids are home again and my daughter needs me for all things, to make sure that she's eating if she's getting hungry, because she won't ask all the time. Making sure that she's going to the bathroom, because she will not go to the bathroom unless prompted. So when you guys hear about people being a stay-at-home mom, it's one thing when that child is old enough and self-sufficient to go to the bathroom themselves, take a bath themselves, pick out their clothes by themselves and put them on. Know when their underwear is wet so that they can go change it and take care of that by themselves. Usually you don't have to. So it's a lot. Like, I'm not just sitting at home doing nothing. There's constantly things that you need to be doing and watching. Gotta make sure she's not having a seizure. So even if I am working on something, I gotta be looking up and checking on her every once in a while. She usually has to sit right next to me. We usually have to be in the same room. My daughter is almost 9. She has only a couple times in her life ever played in another room without one of her family members in it. Because we're the only ones that know what her seizures look like. That and the people that she's been with at Infinity Therapy, thank God for them as well. Because they are also people that know what her seizures look like and they know what to do, and they're the only people we would trust. And I actually hate that I have to trust them like that, because that is a huge responsibility. Let's put this person's life in somebody else's hands while we run errands or try to take a break in that 4 hours. And then, hope nothing bad happens. Hope nothing comes up that scares them, or they have trauma, or God forbid something happened that they can't control, but they're the ones that were there. That's a lot to put on someone. Not everybody's okay doing that. And I'm not okay with just leaving them with just anybody, because guess what? Not everybody reacts the same way. And somebody might think that they'll react okay, but that doesn't mean that that's exactly how it's going to be, because not everybody is able to respond the way they should. They're just not. It's instinct, and some people freeze, and that's okay. But the people that don't freeze are harder to find. And the people that don't freeze are usually working in a facility, or at, they're nurses or they're doctors. And, why would anybody pay to have them come help me when they get paid a ton to work? I mean, granted, they go to school. Great. Yep. I tried that too. I was a CNA and I started school for LPN, and then apparently apparently I was missing a prerequisite and they wanted me to quit and take a semester and take that one prerequisite. And I was like, no, because if I take one course and nothing else, then I can't get financial aid. And I'm not going to take a bunch of classes that I don't need because that's just dumb. So I ended up dropping out of LPN, worked at the hospital, worked at the clinic for a long time until I had to quit work. So thank God for me also, because I had some knowledge on medical terminology, medications, how to administer things. Like, it wasn't just something that was unknown to me, but there are lots of families that deal with not knowing anything about their child's disease, especially when it comes from nowhere. It's not something that's hereditary for them. It just happens. We do also that education, but we do it for free on our free time because we have to figure out what's going on with our kid. And the doctors can tell you, oh yeah, you have, they have this issue or they have this disease and this is what can happen, but that's about it. It's not like, you're taken through and given all this information. You get websites. Here's some websites that can give you some answers. You just, watch them and figure that out. You'll be good. So we do that when our kids are asleep because we can't do it when they're awake because they need us all the time. And I think that's one of the misconceptions is that people who are at home homeschooling or people that are at home and they're helping individuals with disabilities of any kind, because just because one is seen and one isn't doesn't mean that they're any less complicated. It's all complicated because this entire world is created only for people who have what they consider normal ways of living, the way their bodies work. Everything is created, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure most healthcare revolves around men physiologically as well. So there are not even specifics that people can do or learn in medical school, I'm assuming, unless they take a specific course or program to learn about the woman's body, individual from a man's body. If you want to talk, in a two-gender society, regardless of what it is, you learn that these things are out there, but they're not taught how to treat them or how to take care of them. And I'm sure a lot of that goes to religion, because I'm pretty sure a lot of the hospitals, most hospitals, I don't know of many hospitals that are for-profits, most of them are non-profits. So when everybody says, oh, why aren't you trying to partner with non-profits? Yeah, I was. And the hospitals too, because those are also non-profits, did you know? So are churches. They don't have to pay taxes. So the churches start these hospitals, and the hospitals are the people who are helping us, but they're basically like, here's a book, you can read it in your off time or whenever you have a chance. Learn about your child's disease and what may or may not happen. Bring us back if what we give you isn't working, which is usually a medication that you have to fight for and spend $1 bazillion on. Because, my daughter's one medication is $15,000 a month. $15,000 a month. So thank you to all of those who wanted Medicaid to be taken away, or at least paused, and all the other fun stuff that's happening, because there's no way I can afford that medication. I can't. And that's only one. She takes 4. And that's just her. That doesn't even include the medications the rest of us take to try to survive in a world that wasn't set up for us, with ADHD and stress and processed food that's cheaper than, anything else you could buy that's fresh and actually nutrient dense. You've got to spend $12,000 more buying stuff that's healthier for your body. Okay, rant over. What was I going on? Anyway, this is what happens when I'm driving. I get frustrated. Thank God I'm outside in the sun and I can pay attention to the trees. But I think one of the things I was wanting to say is, like, this is not a life. It's not. like, I have days where I'm like, you know what, if I don't wake up, I'm that tired, I could just sleep my life away. And for me, it's like, well, if you're going to sleep your life away, you might as well be dead, because what's the point? And the fact that I, like, don't want to wake up because I'm so physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausted is so sad to me. What kind of a life is that? And then it's right back to, well, why can't I just travel with my kids and be present with them and teach them things and show them the actual things that are out there in this world to experience and to see and to touch and to feel? Because I don't know about you, but when I see certain things like, I don't know, the mountains or the ocean or amazing things that were created by nature, it blows me away. Like, I feel like I'm in the presence of God. I know people have seen, and this is one of the things on our bucket list, the redwood forest, the sequoia trees. To know that something has survived in this world that long by literally just being and doing what it was created to do just by being there. They're massive. I don't even know that I'll be able to wrap my mind around how big they are when I actually see them, because I have a hard time wrapping my head around seeing people in pictures near them. Who doesn't want to see that stuff? And maybe it's because they don't find a joy in that. But I think for me, it goes back to, like, church. Right? I used to think when I was little, like, how strange is it that I have a life and I'm, like, here? And I wonder if anybody else ever has these thoughts of, like, this is weird. To know that, like, one minute I was here or wasn't here, and the next minute I'm here, and then, like, knowing that when it comes to the end, 1 minute I'm here and the next minute I'm not. It doesn't matter how long that progression is to that very last minute, but it is and always does come down to 1 minute you're here, the next you're not. And I don't want to not see these things when I was taught that these magical, beautiful, extremely detailed and scientifically, I mean, they can prove that flower petals grow in a certain number pattern. All of them. They're not all the same, but they have a lot of the same qualities, right? Totally different species. They all have the same number of petals that grow in the same pattern. Golden ratio, or the whatever the spiral thing is with the, I don't remember the name. I've been watching a lot of documentaries and, like, info, you know, shows that tell you about this stuff, and I find it so fascinating. Probably because I'm a science geek and I do whatever I can to experiment with anything. Just talking about that this morning with my daughter. Like, experiment using art. What will work? We want to create this. It doesn't exist. How do we do that? Let's play around and experiment with it. But to know that whatever energy source, God, force is out there, that most people acknowledge, maybe not necessarily believe in any particular way, but they at least acknowledge that there's something greater than them. And we're told that the Creator created this planet that we're on and the human bodies that we have. And why would anybody think that we are any less intricate and different and unique, but still similar? Like, we're all humans, right? Most of us have a starting point. Not everybody's is the same, but it doesn't need to be. I'm pretty sure that in any other culture or environment, or, you know, what am I trying to say? Habitat? They're not all the same. And they do that for survival. If you're all the same, if if something came and wanted to wipe it all out, you wouldn't have any defense against it. Because you're all the same. So why are we told that we need to be a certain way, or we need to look a certain way, or we need to be at whatever it is? Because that's not the point. The point is that who we are, which is the soul that is inside of us, is here for a short amount of time in the physical body that we were given. And we can try to fight as long as we want. And that's what a lot of us do when we have individuals in our family that have a disorder or a disease. We do everything we can to try to keep them alive for as long as possible. But what point is it if they're stuck in the hospital every day? If they're stuck going to a school where they're not learning the things that bring them joy, or actually seeing it, feeling it, touching it, experiencing it? What is the point? I don't understand. And every time we try to fight harder and harder to keep our people alive, we're told that other people don't think that they are worthy of being alive. They get to pick and choose who should live and who should die. I mean, because that's what they do essentially, right? With the rules that they're putting into place and the things that they want to change. They want it to be in their control, but that's not how it is. Nothing in this world is in our control, and they need to stop trying to do that and controlling people. Just let people live, because that's what we're here to do. And I'm in awe that I am a soul and a physical body that was blessed enough to have this experience, just as any other living thing on this planet that was created by the Creator, that created me, that felt I needed to be here on this planet for this particular time, and who knows how long that is. I'm not given my end date, so why can't I just enjoy it while I can? And to do that, I'm breaking all kinds of rules. But it's like, who decided to have them make the rules? I mean, I honestly, I feel that I worry, because people say that, like, without rules, people would be crazy, or they would, hurt others or do things. But then that makes me think, like, I would never, even if I had the ability of no consequence, whatever, I cannot hurt somebody else in any other way intentionally. Like, I could not do that. It would make me physically sick to think about hurting somebody in a physical, emotional, mental way intentionally. Like, I could not do that. Yes, have I hurt people in the past? Yeah, accidents happen all the time. Yes, I have done things in my life that hurt people emotionally, mentally. Did I do it with the intent of hurting them? No. It was, I did and made decisions based on who I was at that time, and I'm not that person anymore. When I was a hurting teenager, I'm sure I did tons of stuff that were not nice, but I was hurting, so I wanted everybody else to hurt too. I mean, it just was. So I just feel like eventually those people wouldn't be around. And I think the reason that I get concerned is because the people that I know from church and the people that I've seen in churches and, like, saying that they're, this is how we should live and this is, the Bible tells us this, they are some of the meanest people I've ever met. To the point where I've seen physical harm and heard stories and seen the marks on people. And I'm thinking, is that why they don't want to let everybody do what they want to do, because then they won't have any control? I mean, obviously that's what they want, because otherwise you would have no other reason to put your hands on somebody else unless you were trying to control them or the situation or whatever it is. So it just blows my mind. And I think the more that I find out about myself, I know that I would never do that. And it makes me question the people that would, and the people that consider that to be something that is an option. Like, I feel like people are inherently good when they're born, right? Like, the kids are not born hating anything. live in a space where the churches that are available to me make me feel unsafe. Plain and simple. So I feel like it confuses me. And so the more I learn about myself, with my kids going through school, doing the EIDBI, learning about their sensory stuff, learning about different things, and finding that there are differences all over the world, the more that I even learn about other countries and everything more now, because I find it fascinating. So I want to learn about other people. I've always been around lots of other types of people. It's only been since we moved to a tiny town that I haven't experienced lots of different types of people. And I'm sorry for those of you that like that. I find it boring. I love meeting new people that are different than me. I love hearing different thoughts and points of view. Doesn't mean I'm going to always match them, but at the same time, how interesting is it that based on where you live and the people that are around you, that you see the world so differently, knowing that we're seeing the same thing, but we see the same thing differently. Because you know that the only reason you are the way you are is because of the environment you grew up in and your ability or inability to work on your strengths, the things that light you up and make you happy and bring you joy, and the ability or inability to speak your truth of this hurts my feelings, this makes my body hurt, this doesn't make me feel good, and whether or not that was ever listened to. And if it wasn't listened to, eventually you probably stopped saying stop. And if it was never listened to, maybe you started thinking, I'm just going to save my breath, because what does it matter? They're not going to listen to me anyways. I don't know how we got here. I don't know how humanity, of all the species on this planet, we're the most intelligent, we can do the most, and we are not only losing other species not even necessarily intentionally, but sort of, if you know that something's going to die and you do nothing to try to help it, but we won't even help ourselves, so why would we help an animal? I don't understand when we got to a point where physicians will literally get fined or go to jail or lose their license to practice care if they start taking care of somebody or try to help somebody outside of the medical system just because they want to be a good person. That blows my mind. And it blows my mind that there are just so many people with so much, including myself, and I've been trying to get rid of stuff forever because I don't even want it. And everybody says have a garage sale. Well, I don't want to have a garage sale because I don't want to price everything. I just want people to take it. I don't want to sell it. If they want to leave me $5, fine. You want to leave me $1? Great. It can be free will donation. I don't even have a space to do that because I can't do it at my house because I don't want everybody knowing where I live. I don't know that anybody necessarily wants random strangers just showing up at their house. It's one thing when you live in a community. It's another thing when you live out in the middle of nowhere and you have nobody else to be around you should something happen. So I just feel like so much of this is our own doing. It's our own doing. It can be easily solved, but it all goes back down to what does somebody else get in return? Well, how am I going to live? Well, I feel like if we all took care of each other, that wouldn't be a worry, right? Of course, there are going to be people out there that still want to come for what you have, and yes, you have every right to stand up for what you have, and you probably worked really hard for it, but at the same time, is it worth it? My entire house could burn down, and as long as my family are okay, that wouldn't bother me. And at the same time, it's wow, I spent a lot of money buying stuff that I didn't really need, and now it's gone. So now what? It doesn't even, that's the thing. Physical stuff, things that we have, things we acquire, has no real value. But we treat it like it's the ultimate goal. We treat it like that's when we've been successful, is when we can be the owner of something that other people wish to have or wish they could afford. And I quite literally, all I want is to be present with my children until they're old enough and capable enough to be on their own and experience life in a way other than the way that their parents have taught them to experience life, to be a good person, to go and do what they can to help others, but like be present and live their life. That's all I want. The hard thing is, with Espen, I know that that will never happen. There are not places set up for individuals like her that may need a little bit more support, but also are very capable of living on their own. I mean, I know there's places here and there. Trust me, I've been watching them and I'm seeing them and I'm trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I create that space here for the people here that need that help? Nobody wants to help do it. They don't want change. They don't want to bring other people in here. They don't want to see that other people can also become competition for what they consider the things that are valuable in life. Property, money, physical things. When really my daughter just wants to live by herself because she's a human person and capable of doing it, but nothing in this world is set up to help her, support her. And I try to do it, and I'm exhausted now. And at this point, I'm spending the better 2+ years on this, pretty much begging people to see the value in what I envision and asking for support to see, would anybody be willing to help me? Do I think anybody would be willing to put forth the money that I don't have and can't get in order to do this? Most of the time that doesn't happen, because guess what? There's no return on investment when somebody wants to just create a space and give everything away. People think that that's insane. I think we're all better off if we're giving space to people to learn how to be their best versions of themselves in spaces that are made to help their strengths. And then they can use those strengths to help other people. Like, I don't know. So welcome to my thoughts while I drive and I'm stuck in the car between all these places, wanting so badly to make them a space in between so people don't have to drive as far, where we can find support with one another, and where it doesn't always have to be something that we need to pay for, because God knows a lot of us can't pay for the extra stuff. I'm not the only one. I know there's lots of families. They don't have to have people with disabilities in their families to not have money. There's families all across the world that don't have money and can't get money because their circumstances. And again, it goes back to church. We're told to help people, take care of them. But yet, every choice we make about who we choose to put in charge of our rules and our policies and the way things should work and how much things should cost and who should have access doesn't line up, because I didn't learn about all that at church. That was not something I heard about. So I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I am crazy, and that's fine. It's hard for me though, because I want more than anything to just give up. I can't do it anymore. I'm so tired. I literally spend every waking hour that I don't have my kids trying to either A, take care of myself, regulate myself, take care of my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health, and build a business or try to create space so that other people don't have to struggle like us. And I think that's what's really hard. is because I really jumped into this thinking and trusting that I would be understood, that people would see, people would be willing to put themselves in my shoes for a day and just see what it's like, versus just saying, oh, I'll pray for you. Your prayer doesn't do anything for me. And when you take those prayers overseas and you give people toothbrushes and socks and toiletries, and then you leave, tell them to pray for themselves, how well does that work? Their circumstance does not change. You do nothing with that money to actually change the circumstance that these people are in that would have actual, true, profound effect on making their life different. Because there's nothing that you get back from it. And that is so sad. I see so many people do it. They want to share. Let's bring light to this poor community, whoever it might be, whatever type of community it is. See them. Give them some money. Tell them we'll pray for them. Let them know we will think about them. But, God forbid you truly understand what it's like to be in their shoes and feel hunger, anger, just because of the color of your skin, or because you choose to love somebody different than they feel you should, or you have a disability that you were born with, or a situation happened to you and now you're disabled. Like, has anybody really truly ever sat down and been like, wow, I wonder what that's like to live a life in that day? I'm pretty sure people aren't running to the virtual reality to be like, hey, let me see what it's like to live in a disabled person's life for a day, what that looks like. No, because it hurts and it's painful. So why would you? But if you're not willing to do that, then you don't know what these people need, and you don't know how to help them, and you don't understand them on a level that will make a difference. And I'm sure that's going to make a lot of people mad, but tell me I'm wrong. Right? Tell me I'm wrong. Somebody please show me where people are lining up to live a virtual life of what it's like to be somebody other than who they are, that tend to be the ones that are not always taken care of, the ones they say in the Bible that we should be caring for. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do anymore. I want these things to be in existence. I want people to see how much value they have for the human people and the souls that are in those human people, to be able to feel loved and respected and valued and seen and understood and just like worthy of having life in any and all best ways possible. It blows my mind that more people can't think like that. And I think that's what makes it so sad, is that the fighting to try to do this is so hard and so exhausting, and I don't do it for myself, right? I want this world to be better for my children, and that's why I can't quit. If it were for me, I would have given up forever ago, because it's easier to just let go and just say it is what it is. I can't change it. I will just suffer until the end. So be it. If you come for my children, you try to start making changes that are going to hurt them or help them literally become a target or lose their life, you will see the part of me that I have worked very, very hard to keep in check. I can be me. I can be. I know that. That part of me is still there. That teenager that said the things that she wanted to say and was rebellious and angry, she's still in here. And she will come out if it means that her or her loved ones are in any way coming into harm. out there that say that they, are these upstanding religious people that should be trusted, those are the ones where, looking back now, I'm like, oh, really? Those were the friends that were cutting themselves. Those were the friends that were having bruises on their bodies. So, no, I don't trust you either. And I will protect my children as long as I can, and they know that. But I also prepare them for what this life is like, living in the body that they were given by God. And I have to prepare them for that, because this world is not made for them. As much as I kick and I scream and I try, and people say, oh my gosh, your ideas are great, and that would be so amazing. That's as far as it goes. And so at this point, I won't keep doing it, because for the last 3 years, I have missed so much, and it's not worth it to me. It's not. There is nothing that I can buy with any of the money that I would ever earn that is more important to me than the little bit of time that I have with my kids and the people that make me happy and the people that bring joy to my life and the people that see the beauty in nature and music and hearing somebody laugh that doesn't laugh very often. That to me is like more than anything money can give me. And so I will create a space for myself and for my kids, and I will do it as slow as possible. And I will hope that other people will see the value and want to start creating their own spaces, because right now I can only focus on my family. When I try to help other families, I lose too much of my life to that, and I can't do it anymore. So if you are somebody that wants to see change in the world, you want to see these spaces created, you know people that have the funding to make it happen. I mean, let's talk. At this point, the only reason I would do a business is so that I could have it be employee owned and in a trust so that people with disabilities can work at other jobs other than thrift stores, that they can have entrepreneurship type programs to help them create business off of what makes them happy and what their strengths are and what they're good at, but not lose all their services that they get through the states, like Medicaid or Social Security or any of that. Because if you make too much, your child loses that too. I want it all to go back in to pay for the funding to help create more spaces so that people don't have to drive an hour to find a space where people understand the way that their mind works and their bodies work, and they feel safe enough to be with them. I can't anymore. I can't. I'm missing too much. I get 4 hours a day to myself, and I'm not taking enough care of myself mentally, emotionally, physically to live for a long time. And I need to, because I will not leave my not expect me to be able to put in 40 hours a week to something when I only have 20 hours a week to myself, and out of that 20 hours, I still have to try to take care of myself. I'm tired. I'm so tired. And as much as I want to keep fighting, I will not keep fighting and hitting my head against a wall for something that might never happen, and then know that that time was wasted and I missed all my time with my daughter and in my own life. I just can't. It's not worth it. I don't know what information people want. I don't know what information people need to prove or give, or good enough reason to have these spaces be in existence. I mean, I feel like the fact that people need them in general should be enough. I feel like the fact that my daughter is 9 and not potty trained, and I know she's not the only one, should be enough to know that there are places that I can take her to change her when I'm in public and not have to stand there and do it in a nasty bathroom. God forbid you try to lay her on the floor. That is disgusting. I will never do it. And she's too big to be on the changing tables. And changing tables are usually only in a women's bathroom. So, God forbid somebody of the male bathroom usage space ever be able to help. Because there's no changing tables in men's bathrooms. And do I want my 9-year-old daughter going into a bathroom that is with a bunch of men? No. Why can't we just have bathrooms? Maybe if everybody's in there keeping an eye on everybody, it's not such a big deal. I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm so tired. And I have to be done. I'll end this. I hope I gave you something to think about. I hope it makes you want to know better, do better, be better. I hope when you look in the mirror, you reflect on whether or not the choices you made that day align with the type of person that you want to be. And if you showed up in a way that lets people know that that's the type of person you are. Do your actions match your words?